Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome to episode 429 of In Touch with iOS, the podcast that keeps you connected to the ever-changing Apple ecosystem. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. Each week, we break down the latest news, updates, tips, and hidden features across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, Vision Pro, and Apple TV with insights from our friends, experts, and the Apple community. Because here we read those release notes so you don't have to. So we got another full panel this week. It's so great to see everybody. Let's see who's here. I'm going to do reverse order this week. Guy Serle, you are here.
Oh, you really
should have
done that.
How you doing, Guy?
Good night. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, much to probably yours and everybody else's regrets.
Right. Glad you're here. Also glad he's here. Chuck Joyner. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm hungry. I haven't had dinner yet. And it's 8:00 on the East Coast, so
yeah.
I may be a little grumpy.
We don't want you grumpy. We'll cheer you up. We'll cheer you up.
That doesn't feed the
oh, well, that's true.
The bulldog. So if I go off camera, you'll know the DoorDash arrived.
Okay, great. Also great, Jeff Gamet. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great, and I cannot wait to see the look on Chuck's face when DoorDash arrives with the surprise meal that we ordered for him.
Oh, Lord.
Was that the one from Adam and Eve?
Okay, moving on.
That's the one.
Okay.
Moving on.
It's okay.
Is it really the FBI?
It's edible.
I like apples.
Okay.
It's just made
no.
out of kind of gel.
Eric Bolden, try not to be cracking up. How you doing? Glad you're here.
Really good.
All right. Glad you are.
And I have coffee, so doubly good.
Yes. And Jill McKinley, you are here. Thank you for being here. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I've been working on a certification project since March, and I'm finally done with it, and I feel like my whole life is before me.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I'm feeling good.
We'll talk about that. And last but certainly not least, Marty Jencius is here. How you doing, Marty?
It's been a rough couple of days, even spending some time with the doctor this morning. And let me tell you, unlike Chuck, when he leaves, he's going to go to DoorDash. Me, if I leave camera and shut my microphone off, it's because the diuretics have kicked in.
I'm glad that you included and shut the mic off.
Shut the mic off, yes. All right, let's go ahead and move on. This is, we're coming, a couple of, is it 2 weeks now for WWDC or just 1 week? It's been 2 weeks now. So I wanted to get into some of the meat and potatoes of all the announcements that getting into what we found, and with all the iOS releases and all the hidden features we found, all the features they don't really talk about. So we'll be hitting a lot of that this week in the news, and maybe even a little AI discussion. I've spent all week focused on Copilot at work, and it's been quite an adventure. Learned a lot, and I'm telling you, AI is not going anywhere, and especially at companies. And I think it was a great session. Learning about agents, learning about prompts, learning about scheduling prompts. There's all kinds of stuff, and who knows? We might even have a segment here at some point when it comes to AI, because it isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
You can call it prompts and schedules.
Prompts and schedules. That's right. So. Anybody else? And then I'll bring your topic in here first, here, Jill. Jill, you since I just brought up AI, we'll just put it at the top of the show here. So you went through, was doing some certification testing, right, with the AI, and that was kind of fitting when I have been through all this all week and experiencing it at my work. So what happened? What did you do?
Well, I used it initially, and that wasn't going to be the full part of the story. But essentially, I had it help me initially when I did it, and I had all these PDFs that this company gave me, and every time and it's an open book test, so I had to look through 1,000 PDFs. So what ChatGPT told me is, with Preview, I can combine them into a single PDF. Not only that, once it's a single PDF, I can rearrange the pages. So as I started studying, I had AI quiz me. And maybe out of every chapter was 50 questions. I got down to 300 questions I didn't know the answer to. So now let's just keep hitting those questions harder and harder. And I started deleting pages out of the PDF as I understood them. And so now I had a core set of places that I could use to study from, just the things I didn't know. And at the very end, I had a really good study guide. But what it was, and that was, so ChatGPT gave me advice. Claude gave me the quizzing because there's enough information out there on the internet. But through the power of Preview, I was able to use it to create a super PDF of everything so that you can hit Control, Shift, Find. And if I said, I am looking for the workflow engine, now I'm looking through every single one of the documents instead of one at a time to see if I can find where that answer is. And in the end, I was able to switch to Copilot because that is what officially my work uses.
Same here.
And I was delighted to find out that Copilot was as good as Claude at doing this.
I'm
not
tell
allowed to upload my PDF into anything that's not a work-related item. So what was that?
I said, don't tell Chuck.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, so using ChatGPT for advice, Claude for quizzing that's based on the internet, and then using Copilot to actually quiz me on my PDFs, I got 100% on my certification test.
Congratulations. That's
fantastic.
Nice. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Good way to start off top of the show. Anybody else have any, we're working with AI this week, like Jill and I? Marty, you're always working in ChatGPT and AI, are you?
Yeah, I did a presentation to international teachers, 40 international teachers on Tuesday that was about use of AI, particularly prompt engineering, how to create a prompt that will create a prompt engineer for you, and then some agentic stuff. And learned a lot from folks in terms of teachers and schools in different countries and how schools in different countries are not as permissive in use of AI and some restrictions that they have. So they're using AI engines just built specifically by the Ministry of Education for the purpose of using it in a school setting.
Mm-hmm.
And some real interesting stuff. The best part for it was when I gave them a Socratic prompt and had them work in small teams to come out with an output. And that, I think, was that was like the oh wow experience for them, because each of them had to each team had to kind of report out what they had done. So.
No.
Yeah, I was into it for the beginning of the week.
Being able to go through an exercise like being able to work on a prompt, like take a look at a photo, describe it, see if you can come up with a photo it came up with by somebody else. Whether it's any type of photo, you describe it. That's where I think the teachings kind of have to keep going, is learning how to use a prompt to your advantage to describe what you're trying to find or create. And
these were
like
all
I said, this was like a
English as
big
second
light
teachers.
opening for me this week. So that's why I kind of last second here decided this topic. So, but it is pretty phenomenal once you finally, the light bulb came on for me. I mean, it's like, what am I waiting for? Anybody else have any experiences with AI this week they want to share?
Plenty of experiences. Not sure there's anything that's particularly new.
Okay.
I did. I think. Yeah, that was this week. Copilot lied to me again.
Did you challenge it
about some things? Yes, and it continued to lie to me. And so, and really, it is interesting because I'm using Copilot because it's approved,
Yeah.
and you put confidential information. Well, I can't really take that same confidential information and compare it with a ChatGPT or Claude result. So I try to get some dummy information that is kind of similar, and I don't know. I mean, Copilot, still is lying to me, and the others don't. And so, I'm delighted to hear that Jill found something that they stolen to sufficiently to make it work.
No, but you've got the models you can switch to. I mean, there's the Opus Claude model, and there's the ChatGPT model. I mean, so you could switch models into Copilot, assuming you have the license.
Well, depending on the license,
Right.
yeah.
So
let me tell you the secret, though, what I did, because you're right. AI was making up stuff that was not true, and I was not learning from it. So that's why I switched to Copilot. And I said, don't look at the internet. Just look at this PDF. Don't look at anything else.
there you go.
And it didn't.
That's a good tip right
Nice.
there. Force it to look at the
Yeah.
document you provide it, because it's going to go out to the internet.
Yeah, and the big understanding is you can actually provide it documents and keep it within that particular contained area in terms of information or use. And that's if you're working with someone new with AI, that's a big surprise to a lot of folks. They did not realize that they don't realize that you can pretty much supply the content that you want it to work with.
And
Sorry to jump on that, Chuck, but you're right. AI will completely and utterly lie to you confidently.
Yes,
it is.
Copilot in particular.
Yeah.
And
So, but just, I mean, overall, my experiences with AI have been very positive because I've done some vibe coding of some apps just for me, and it's really fun to walk through that process. And I started upgrade or update one of them last night, and then got interrupted and haven't gotten back to it. But if I tell it, in this case it's Claude, if I tell it to remember, hey, I want to come back to this later. Remember this. It does.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right, I'll throw mine in real quick.
Okay.
I helped someone earlier this week who needed to get a transcription from a recording, but the recording was all confidential information. And they were freaking out about, but if I put it into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, that confidential information is out there to be used. What do I do? And I said, well, have I got something for you? And I turned them on to Mac Whisper because it's using AI, but it's running everything locally. So I enlightened them to the reality of local AI models. And I think that changed their approach to using AI going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, I thought that was a cool thing to talk about, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next segment here, which will be In Touch with Vision Pro. So, all the OSs were released a couple weeks ago here at DubDub, and so we're going to talk a little more, get some little details. I've got the links to all the Apple sites for what their OS is in each of the discussion we'll have here, so you'll have a good reference for what's going in here. The developer beta came out. It's available. It brought in Apple Intelligence integration, the SAI enhancements, platform improvements, and that was announced. So, Marty, what did you see? What did you see? I mean, I've installed it. I had been playing with it a little bit the last couple of days. I definitely see some improvements with the mirrored screen for your Mac. Why am I having a blank what that's called? To remind me, Eric. That
Mac Virtual Display.
Mac Virtual Display. Yep. And so I found some improvements there. But I'll start with you, Marty. Where did you see anything that really stood out with this new version?
The thing is, this WWDC, they didn't directly talk a lot about visionOS.
Right.
However, if you look at the developer stuff that's going on, you've got things like it's one of the biggest upgrades, including object tracking, IR LED tracked accessories framework, unfoveated screen recording, Reality Kit, gains of physical space lighting, projective textures, 3D Gaussian splatting, which we've talked about before on the show. And different types of simulation, two new streaming frameworks, spatial preview and foveated streaming. There's just a lot of stuff packed in it for developers to work with. So it didn't make a lot of splash like at the keynote, like the parent guidance kinds of things and all the stuff they talked about with SAI. But there's a lot going on in the background, and the developers, I think, are getting a lot to work with it.
Okay. Eric, how about you? What have you noticed? You are running it now this time around, right?
Yes. Yeah. There is a ton of stuff. The biggest thing for me is connecting to a Mac virtual display is much faster. Virtually no delay. It snaps right up. And you can have buttons that trigger it. So if you have more than one machine you're connecting to, you can hit a button, connect to one, do a bunch of stuff, put it away, hit another button, connect to that. And, it's very snappy.
Yep. So there are some noticeable additions, which is good. But it, of course, Apple with all of their marketing, they put in these sections here. They gotta try to sell it to you a little bit. They've enhanced some things with Freeform, the web environments. They could do with that, with the panoramic pictures you can add as environments. Messages sync, I think, is getting better because it was really bad in previous versions. I mean, I would come to my messages on my Vision Pro, and I would notice that it was, hey, that messages from like 3 days ago. So I think they've improved that. And the dwell control, the updated dwell control, that offers an entirely new way to make your selections using just your eyes. I've seen some improvements because I would move my eyes around and it's like, God, I want to get to that software update. Ooh, and of course you're moving your head, try to do it. You're supposed to just move your eyes to do it. And it seems that I've seen some improvement. It's still not the best. But so I think environments is probably the biggest things I noticed with that comes to that. So
yeah. Control panel changes.
Control panel, yeah, a totally different control panel settings as well. Yeah, for sure. So,
and when you reboot, you get a network right away.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It doesn't take like 2 minutes.
So there another article in here we put some. This was in Upload, one of Marty's favorite sources of news, and it did see some enhancements. So there's some good things. They have curvature to the windows. It's a lot different as well. And Reality Composer 3 is out. So composers, the game engine, they talked about that as well. And spatial accessories. So yeah, so we do have some notable things with this. So let's go ahead and we'll move on into beta this week. So we're continuing on with beta, iOS 26, iOS and iPadOS, all the iOSs and OSs is at 27 for beta 1. But before we get to that, I wanted to make sure we mention that beta is still continuing with iOS and macOS and iPadOS 26. It's at 26.6. So it's always a fun time of year when they're doing simultaneous betas on the old version and the new version, Mm-hmm. So they've got 26.6 beta 2. So I would tend to expect that it's probably going to be released pretty soon. It's because 27, of course, probably is going to release in September, and they just need to wrap up all the work on 26. And there's no major features in here when it comes to that right now. So there is a potential possibility they might still release one more version of 25. Not 25. Excuse me, 26.5, if they're going to continue on with that. But I would tend to doubt that will happen if 26.6 is already in beta. There was some chatter about that. So, so with, in fact, I do have the article in here about it's going to come alongside 26.5.2. So who knows? This is like a alphabet of crazy releases this time of year. So,
wait, didn't they go to iOS 26 to like clean a lot of that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how'd that work
How'd that
out?
work out?
Not so great.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
It's funny because I was part of an upgrade on a different piece of software, and they were mad about how many MUs came out, to fix this and fix that. And they're like, what's the alternative? We don't fix it, So I'm okay with it.
Yeah. A lot of discussion. We pretty much talked about iOS 27. It's got SAI. It's going to be a big thing. Apple Intelligence, big thing. And a lot of other things. You've got the next level photo editing. That's going to be really cool. I started playing around with that on my 17E and being able to do cleanup and extend and reframe, which is really cool. Of course, the child safety, we beat that to death. There's just so much great things that they've put in place to protect children, more so than ever. And just design enhancements. We talked about liquid glass, and it's got better, improved network connectivity with transitions between Wi-Fi and cellular connections. That was always a challenge. Performance, I did notice a bit of improved performance. The AirPods now have a custom EQ are built in iOS 27. So you're going to have a customized equalizer now to be able to make adjustments. So that's about time, because they've been talking about that quite a bit when it comes to that. So there's a ton of features on this iPadOS 27. It has its own features that they've added. Same thing with what I just talked about, and so it's pretty much consistent across iPhone and iPad as far as what we find in there. We'll get more details as it progresses here. We have a few months here, and watchOS 27. You've got some pretty good improvements there. When it comes to what they've added here, so again, consistency with SAI and Apple Intelligence. You got more motivation with workout buddies in different languages, the heart rate zones where you spend your time in workouts, and the new tap tester, which we already knew about. That's been around for a while. The Wallet app's got some custom passes you can, and then any membership card that uses a QR code, like your library card, can then easily put that wallet in the smart stack, and you can scan that. So lots of cool things with that. So beyond that, we can go ahead and let's move on. Anybody have anything else to add that I just talked about with the iOS, iPadOS, or watchOS?
It did try the photo, the extending and the rotating, and it did a really nice job, except on a few of them, it mutilated my friend's face. Like, it made it weird. And I thought, why did you touch that at all? Because I didn't do anything with that, But so you have to look at it, but it's very good. Out of like the 15 photos I tried, it only screwed up one. So it was very good.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble with Waze with iOS 27. It's just not working well so far, and I keep checking every day to see if there's an update to Waze.
Yeah.
And so far, nothing yet.
Well, aren't there limitations on what developers are allowed to release between now and when 27 comes out? As far as updating apps for beta features?
Don't know.
I can't remember for sure, but I think there's some sort of limitation.
Yeah, when you said that was the end of me and the phone on beta.
Yeah, so if I'm remembering that correctly, don't hold your breath for that update you need, Guy.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of making me regret having updated my only phone to a beta.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
Not that I'm upset.
Oh, you could go back.
Nobody at home should do that.
Go back.
You know how to solve that problem, Guy. Yeah. Buy another phone and start over.
Get another phone, right?
Buy another phone.
Like Marty and I, as crazy as we are.
You both have jobs.
Well, there's that. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to macOS 27 Golden Gate, or as Jeff calls it,
Big Bridge.
That's right.
Big Bridge.
Some pretty interesting enhancements they've added in here. Again, we're seeing the consistencies with the Apple Intelligence. Safari is working a lot smarter with safety with the notify me monitors and pages for changes. I think the child protection, and they even I didn't see some improvement with performance. So accessibility, voiceover got a new capabilities and screens. So interestingly enough, going through the compatibility, it goes as far as it's going to go MacBook Pros. It has to be Apple Silicon 2020 or later, MacBook Air 2020 or later, and then the iMac is a 2021 or later. The Mini is a 2020 or later, and then the Studio 2022 or later, and then the Pro, the Mac Pro with Apple Silicon, which is be at 2023. But all the Intels, sayonara. We're done with Intel. So that's that with that. So,
well, it's not like there wasn't any warning.
Oh,
you know, I mean, they've kept it available for now 6 years. So, you know, at some point it's going to be like, okay, well, this is an entirely different architecture.
Right.
So, you know, we can't keep putting Band-Aids on hardware that's, you know, 6 to 7 years old.
Yeah.
So, you know, come on.
Yeah. So, a couple other news stories that caught my eye with Mac. Apple had detailed a terminal anti-scam warning in macOS. This happened actually in Tahoe. Apple introduced a new security pop-up that warns Mac users that when they paste a command into the terminal app that could be harmful. Apple has now published a support document explaining why the pop-up warning appears. The warning says the following: possible malware paste blocked. Your Mac has not been harmed, and scammers were often encouraging pasting text into terminal to try to harm your Mac or compromise your privacy. These instructions are commonly offered via websites, chat agents, apps, files, or even a phone call. There is a paste anyway option, but you proceed with caution. Yes, you should.
You know what I wondered about that? I watched a fellow named Ali Abdaal, who is a big productivity YouTuber. And he had one of these AIs help him build an app. And it had him run a bunch of terminal scripts. And it explained it to him step by step. But I'm like, still, how do you know this isn't dangerous? And I wonder if so many people are doing this now that they have to protect people from something detrimental.
I bet you're right.
Yeah, I think you are right.
Yeah. It's a new angle.
So I think the rule of thumb is if you don't know where that information came from, be careful.
Don't do it.
Do it with caution.
Yeah.
Anybody else have
Do it on
Yeah, I
somebody else's
Googled it.
machine.
To delete.
Yeah.
I Googled the delete directory, a thing off the internet to delete something, and someone was like, no, never say those commands in terminal. And I'm like, well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
It was on the internet. It felt safe.
Sure. What could go
What's
wrong?
what's wrong with that statement?
The internet?
Yeah, and this, I mean, I really like the fact that Apple's doing
I do
this
too.
because it may become annoying for some people, but at the same time, it also may prevent you from for a lot of people from doing something really stupid.
Mhm.
Which I almost did.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Chuck's very favorite application of all time, Microsoft Outlook, for Mac, has now an app-wide liquid glass update. Microsoft Outlook should look more like on the Mac today with its app-wide liquid glass update. Exciting. It's according to Microsoft, it has the liquid glass visuals app-wide with a focus on a more expressive, cohesive, and Tahoe native experience. The new version should translate just as well as on the new macOS 27 release, which iterates on the liquid glass display. And specifically, Microsoft details three areas of focus with this, and it says the primary new button has now been refactored with a smoother motion design liquid glass. I know, Jeff, you're getting excited about this.
I'm going to have to go take a cold shower.
That's right. Oh my God!
Time to start smoking again, Jeff.
So, if you're
thinking about baseball,
if you're an Outlook user, and sadly I have to be with work, so be aware that it may not look like you may not like it. You may not like it.
I would like to offer my congratulations on Microsoft for getting this update done in only a year after liquid glass was introduced.
It took a year.
Took a year.
Yeah, well, they had some important things. They have some important things on their list. And
if only they would spend that much time making the program better.
The product better, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. And then lastly on the Mac, in touch with Mac this week, sadly, Golden Gate or Big Bridge ended time capsule support. It has removed the AFP support, ending Time Machine compatibility with the time capsule after nearly 2 decades. But a community project from a Microsoft engineer of all people offers a potential workaround for owners not yet ready to move on. I've moved on from this for a long time ago. I think most of us here have. Go ahead, Mark.
I have not. Well, I have moved on, but I remember fondly having a time capsule and how cool I thought it was. And I am surprised that Apple, being a hardware company, just think of where that would be now over over 18 years. What that device would or could look like now if they continued to develop it, and what it would challenge. I mean, I've got a Synology sitting behind me. I just really liked the time capsule. And
it was great.
Then they stopped supporting it. It was like, okay, I gotta go elsewhere. So I, looked at other storage devices.
No, I agree.
It was interesting because Synology suggested switching to SMB or, switching to a different protocol, and it worked. And my time capsule was working for a while, and then suddenly it just stopped, and I just gave up and formatted the Synology and just used it for something else. But
yeah.
Well, it's sad because, Apple, being a hardware company as well as a software company, they had a device that was well intended for, not even intended, but well put together for the market that it was intended for. And the fact that they just let it kind of die on the vine, it kind of made people hesitant to get anything else that was like it, because if Apple could just go ahead and cancel and it wasn't a cheap device.
No, it wasn't.
No. It just go ahead and cancel something like this. Why are they going to put their faith in someone else to do it? And, you're right. What could this have become over the course of whenever it was that they discontinued the product? And it's sad because it was a well put together device.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So let's look a little bit at this. And yes, I'm grumpy tonight, but
I'm here for grumpy
Chuck.
Chuck.
Me too.
I'll leave the grumpy off to the side for just a second. So if you think about it, the time capsule, somewhere along the line, and I don't have my timelines, I have not researched this, but we started getting iCloud backup, which is a lot easier, a lot more automatic, and frankly, a lot more affordable than this dedicated device that had, that also was simple for its time and offered a lot of storage, but it also it was a hardware device that could fail. There was no backup to the backup, which with iCloud there is. And from the business perspective, iCloud has started being part of a revenue stream for Mac, whereas the time capsules were a one-time sale. So I'm not going to debate what's better and, for backups and excuse me, and who the target market is. But, I saw this and now to get just a little snarky, and I'm sorry, but so we have a Microsoft engineer working on an Apple product that is how many years old? Did you say 20?
Yeah, 2013 was the last.
Or 2008.
2008 is when it came out.
Okay, so engineer, it'd be a good idea if you got to work on some of the other things that are current for Microsoft and stop screwing around with things that were introduced in 2008. Really? I mean,
Yeah.
and the other thing, that was the snark. Now, are you going to trust something? man, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Are you going to trust something that is cobbled together and trying to get an old device working with something as important as your backups? Is this a really good idea?
Not something a device that old at this point.
And now, and if somebody disagrees, please,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a
I
geek
agree.
and this is fun, that's one thing. But if you're putting this out there and saying, "Oh yeah, you can continue to use your time capsule and rely on it," I mean, first of all, that's a drive in there that's from 2008 or sooner, or but just the whole thing just left me cold and wondering, like, who's going to do this if they really think it through?
Agreed.
I'm done.
You back, Jeff?
No, that's
I'm back. Sorry about
Anything to add?
dropping off. I do. Guy, your sentiment about time capsule, totally legit. And at the same time, I think that that Apple was looking at the overall market, and the withering on the vine, it was happening regardless of what Apple was going to do with the hardware, because there were these other products out there that, for the people that really wanted that local backup storage, were giving them a better solution, even if it wasn't quite as elegant. And they also were looking at exactly what Chuck said. And the future was send everything to the cloud.
Well, I'm thinking more along the line, and it's also unfortunate because a service like Backblaze, which just backs up every single thing, not only your computer, but every single thing that's attached to it outside of network storage.
If you so choose, of course.
What Airport Extreme was basically doing. It was network storage, which Backblaze couldn't have backed up anyway, or doesn't back up anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sad it's gone too.
Well, I enjoyed it.
I was also surprised when I saw the news, because I was like, wait, it wasn't gone already?
People were holding on to them to dear life.
I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
I actually still have a time machine stashed in the closet.
Yeah, I had one.
I don't expect to let pull it out.
Eric just pulled his out.
Eric's caressing his.
Still have it.
Eric's caressing his right now.
On camera. Does it still work is the question.
Yeah, but it only works for about 45 minutes and then it overheats. So whenever I need a file, I plug it in, I get the piece I need, and I haven't been able to pull everything off because I can't do that big of a transfer. So it's not as reliable as it once was, but somewhere in here is everything.
Oh.
What you need to do is pull a Jim Ray and get yourself a walk-in fridge and set up a computer.
Just like his AirPods Max, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't think of that. I could put it in
All
the
right,
freezer.
I have to add this to the chat here. Witherbucket. I somehow thought that Time Capsule was just the Apple name for like the Windows system restore.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome, Witherbucket. God. Oh, that was a good laugh. Thank you, Witherbucket.
I had never heard of Time Capsule before, actually,
know.
before that article.
Oh, really?
So I was like, what is this thing? What is this?
Oh, that's right, because you weren't in the Apple world back then.
Never heard
That
of
makes
it.
sense. All right, so let's go on and we get some other topics here this week. A few more things I wanted to bring up briefly on some of the things that were found. And always interesting to hear what was added to CarPlay. We know that SAI is going to be coming to CarPlay, interestingly enough, CarPlay is now going to get dedicated video apps. That kind of frightens me a little bit. They're going to expand the video support. Previously, playback was only supported when the vehicle relied on streaming via the iPhone. Now, developers can now build dedicated video apps for CarPlay, allowing users to browse and select content directly from the vehicle's display. That's kind of frightening, don't you guys think?
When not moving, though.
Does it say when
you
not moving?
cannot play it unless it's moving.
So you can start it, but you're still watching video while you're driving, which is
No. Like, think of it this way. I'm going in and my kids are going nuts in the back.
Oh.
Here's a video. And now the car stopped, parked, and the kids are no longer going nuts.
Okay. I guess I should have read through.
Or Jeff.
You're also not
Or
doing-
me.
Yeah. Or Jeff, right. Yeah, you got to keep him under check here. It's got some new designs and wallpapers. So that they've added that. Of course, you got to have liquid glass on CarPlay. It's that's a must, right? And drivers will notice refreshed app icons, cleaner visual elements, and a collection of new wallpapers that closely match the design found on iOS 27 and a big bridge, macOS 27.
It's never even occurred to me to change the wallpaper on CarPlay.
Me either. I really have always left it.
I couldn't even tell you what the wallpaper is on CarPlay.
Yeah.
I did change mine twice.
But you're paying more attention to it than I am.
I haven't changed it either. Couple of things I'm kind of happy about here is the mini player will make media controls easier. They updated the media apps with a new mini player. Mini player appears in the top right corner of supported apps and provides quick access to album artwork and playback controls, which makes it easier to manage audio without consistently switching between screens. I always hated that. And hallelujah, finally, I can actually do audio scrubbing when you're on CarPlay. I mean, I know I shouldn't be doing it, but you're still tapping a screen to do things. But at least you could scrub now if you want to move it over a little bit. I don't want to hear this, especially on a podcast.
Yeah, nice.
Unless in those
podcasts are sacred. You should never scrub
I should
a
never
podcast.
scrub a podcast, right?
No.
So, anybody comments on CarPlay? Do you? Something, I mean, it's nothing too overly exciting, at least my opinion.
Except when it's not there.
When it doesn't work. Yeah, it was just happened to me tonight in my car because I have these weird storms with the USB connector in my car that it just stops working. I was like, what the hell's going on?
But it's not even that. It's when you can't even use it because the car doesn't support it.
Well, then there's that.
First time I went to Colorado, I got in super late and they gave me a Volvo, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I had to drive out to.
And you suffered.
Berthed.
Yeah, and it was like, wait a minute, I can't use CarPlay. How the hell am I going to get anywhere? And so that was scary.
And you suffered,
right?
I've noticed the pull away. It's my phone is set to the Wi-Fi in my house. I get in the car, thing gets set up, and it used to be I'd get halfway down the block and I'd have to stop, get it to switch. The pull away and the connection is a lot quicker with it, and I think that's one of the improvements in CarPlay.
Yeah, even in 26, are you talking about? Or 20, or
well,
27?
yeah, it'd be in 27.
Okay.
All right. I have a question, and I'll start the question with the actual question, knowing full well what the immediate answer will be, and then I'll give you the reason why I'm asking. Okay, so am I weird? And everyone's going to yes. Am I weird because even though I can connect my iPhone to my car wirelessly for CarPlay, I will not do it. I plug in the wire every single time.
Yep.
I've never even paired my iPhone wirelessly with my car. I don't want a wireless connection for that.
It's not weird, especially if you don't have a Qi charger in your car, because by using your Bluetooth connection, especially if you're going to use something that's using a lot of data, let's say, like map programs, GPS programs, and so forth, you are going to burn through that battery like crazy. Whereas if it's directly wired into your car through a USB connection, not only is it not draining the battery, it's charging it. So whenever it is that you get to wherever it is you're going, you're still going to have at least as much battery life as you did when you left the house, if not more.
And Jeff, you're not missing as much as I think you might be. Now, I've tried 3 different wireless CarPlay systems, third parties. Okay, I haven't sprung to go in for Honda and have them install their add-on. But I'll say the connectivity is about 90%, depending on where you're driving. If I'm not on the highway, it's rock solid, no problem. If I'm in more of an urban area, it'll drop out. It'll drop out like it's like one of the two, either the car or the phone is trying to connect to another Bluetooth signal. And so I kind of not completely gave up on it, but I've usually go back and use the wire because it's just not that big a deal to plug in. Just like Guy said, it's charging it, so I never have to worry about getting somewhere and having a dead phone because I was listening to podcasts or running navigation or both at the same time. So it feels like it's one of those, and I've almost come to the conclusion, given how many people say they have success with these things, that it may be the Bluetooth in my car as opposed to CarPlay itself.
Yeah.
So
I use wireless Wi-Fi or CarPlay for everything. And only when I'm desperate do I plug it in, for battery. But 99% of the time I'm wireless, and I
it's built into your
stream music.
It's built into your car. I still have to use an adapter because my car's older.
Yeah. It is built into my car. But I mean, I can stream music, do navigation, and it's not. I got a 17 Pro, so it's not chewing through the battery that significantly. But if I'm going on a big long trip, I probably would plug it in, but I just never do.
I plug it in. I mean, I don't plug it in to get CarPlay. I plug in the phone to get charged and then use wireless. And I have some dropouts, but it's not as irritating as you guys make it sound.
Is it using?
So maybe it's.
Is it using?
Maybe it's
Wi-Fi or is it using Bluetooth? I thought it was Bluetooth.
I'm using
It uses
Bluetooth.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Using Wi-Fi.
It starts the handshake over Bluetooth to say, yes, I'm the iPhone, I'm the car. We can talk to each other. And then it creates its own discrete Wi-Fi network.
Okay. Well, if you have an older version of either of those, won't that also cause a problem?
And that's a good point. If you have an older car that supports CarPlay but not Wi-Fi, then can you do it just over Bluetooth? I'm not sure.
I haven't tried because the very first car that I got that had CarPlay was a 2016 Kia, and I always had it directly plugged in.
Yeah, because wired wasn't a thing. Wireless wasn't a thing back in that year.
Well, that was like I think the first year it was available, maybe 2015.
Right. So,
but even the third party adapters use Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was Bluetooth. So at least the adapters I have that I'm using.
Well, I think to Jeff's point, I think they start the handshake with Bluetooth, but then there's a Wi-Fi connection.
Okay.
And same thing, it's just annoying enough to make me reach over and connect the cord.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to some news for this week. Tim Cook is saying Apple price increases are unavoidable due to memory costs. Apple is raising its prices to offset the high cost of memory and storage. Tim Cook has told the Wall Street Journal, Apple's no longer able to absorb the increased prices and will need to pass some of it on to the customers. Unfortunately, price increases are unavoidable, Tim Cook said. We're doing our best to mitigate the huge increases and being passed on to us. But we've been trying to shield our customers from the increases, but the situation has become unsustainable. He didn't say which products were going to be increasing, but I wouldn't be surprised if the new iPhones that come out and probably going to see a bump for storage. And to cover that, the Mac Mini, I'm sure you're going to see that increased. It's just crazy where we are now with the growing demand with memory and storage, and AI companies are ones that are gobbling up most of this stuff because they need the amount of storage. I'm obsessed with buying all kinds of drives, and you guys know I have stacks and stacks of external drives here. But it's ridiculous to buy a 4 terabyte drive. You have to spend $600 for it. Even if you buy the off-brand one, it's like $400, and that's still a lot. So the same thing with RAM. I mean, you want RAMs. I mean, these days, we're all in the Mac and working using Macs. That's not a big thing for us because we just buy it with our Macs. But it is it's kind of disheartening, because drives used to be dime a dozen. They weren't that hard to afford. Even to get 1 or 2 terabytes. I don't know, I spent $200 on a 1 terabyte, which it should be like 100. So, Jeff, what do you think?
I think it absolutely sucks, but I'm not blaming Apple.
No, I can't blame Apple
for this. No, the fact that they didn't just start jacking up prices on customers right away, that's actually pretty cool. So I do appreciate that they have been absorbing the cost, but yeah, at some point, you hit a threshold where absorbing that cost doesn't make sense for the company anymore. So I expect that Apple, instead of saying, okay, so the Mac Mini that's on the market today, we just raised the price. What I think they'll do instead is, as they roll out new upgrades for hardware, that's when we'll get the price increase. So new model, new price. And I expect at some point we're going to see a fallout from all this. And that's going to come when we hit that tipping point for all of these AI companies that are ultimately overbuying, and it's going to catch up with them. And we're going to see companies just tank, and we're going to see orders that are being produced for companies that now can't pay for them. The manufacturers are suddenly going to have to be scrambling to deal with that. And I think we're going to hit a point where, for a little while, just availability and pricing is going to turn into straight up a hot mess. I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh, I mean, this is all going to be fallout from the eventual bubble bursting with AI. I mean, we've all seen this same story before in different ways when it comes to technology, where all of a sudden there's something that's like the latest thing, and everybody pours tons of money into it, and then they suddenly discover, well, we can do this thing, but it's not making us money.
Mm-hmm. Who didn't see this coming?
Oh, I didn't. I did. I saw it coming.
All of the AI companies.
Yeah. I mean, who didn't see the increase in cost for memory coming? We all saw it coming. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be the new normal.
Sadly.
Gas prices will come down a little bit, but the market has been able to bear it for the 3 months or so since the problem occurred. And I think that's going to be the same thing with this. We will start to see a market that bears this. And frankly, there were a lot of companies that, and to Jeff's point, there are a lot of companies that said, oh, we got a memory crisis. We're going to just raise prices right now. And with Apple trying to sustain it the best they could, you can't keep subsidizing the cost of your product for the product wellness and for the folks who want to buy it. And I think this is getting ahead. This is letting them know this is down the path and there's nothing we can do to change it. But I think it's the new normal. Remember when 120 megabyte drive cost you $350?
Oh, good times.
We're regressing to that kind of cost equation.
I bought a SCSI 40 megabyte drive for $700 in '87.
Yeah.
Good times.
But multiply 40 megabytes, 42 gigabytes to terabytes, I mean, it is cheaper, And I think there will get a saturation where not companies like OpenAI, but these ones that are sort of creating these small little AIs inside of there. I think there's going to be a saturation point, and then we'll catch up. I do think that's true, because I remember the web server era where everyone and their brother was creating a web server, and every host. I remember at one point half of the energy being used in San Diego was servers, web servers, and people were freaked out. And then eventually it calmed down, and so I think we're going to calm down. That's kind of my view, but I'm an optimist about everything. So,
Chuck, you have anything to add to this?
I was just pure curiosity just to see what kind of prices are. I was checking Newegg to see what what like a 10 terabyte external drive
Expensive.
is. Yeah, well, unfortunately, there we go. Yeah, Western Digital 10 terabyte USB 3.0 external hard drive is $459.
I mean, I remember
So
grabbing. I've got my
there's
12 and 14 gig terabyte ones, and I think I paid under $200 on I think all of them, something like that.
Were we talking about spindle or
Yeah, hard drives, the HDDs,
Right.
not solid state. Yep.
yeah. I mean, because if you're talking just about raw storage, you can still invest in something like an OWC case and have it, then you have multi-drive redundancy and, the expandable storage. So I think that's the way to go if you're looking for that. I mean, there's no question it's not as fast as SSD, but just for raw storage. But yeah, I kind of go with what Marty said. I think we will see this wax and wane a bit. And there are going to be sales, and to me that's
Just we'll pay
where you
attention.
really
We
need to be
got Prime coming up.
paying attention.
Prime's
And
coming up next week. So.
yeah, well, Prime's coming up, and
Prime
of
Day.
course Black Friday is
Black Friday.
months after that. So, but yeah, whoever said it first, yeah, who was surprised by this? Come on,
surprise. Yeah. All right, 2 more stories here. We'll hit our new segment here in a minute. OpenAI has launched the scheduling task in ChatGPT, and we talked about this at the beginning of the show with AI. So they just launched this. This was yesterday as we're recording this. It is rolling out. It's a scheduled page will be discoverable in the sidebar, allowing you to place and view active tasks, and then you can set them when they'll run next, pause, resume, edit, or delete them. All tasks are faster and more reliable. You can schedule these works for specific times for broader windows, such as morning, afternoon, or evening. Monitor tasks that can search the web, check connections for apps and for changes, and notify users only when something is worth reporting. So I was talking about this with scheduling. I find this to be a pretty fascinating and interesting way to use this. And like we said at the beginning, we're learning something every day with what AI is doing for us. Anybody have had anybody tried this? I don't know if it's on Claude yet, but I mean I know it's on Copilot. Anybody? Have you experienced this at all, Jill?
I have scheduled a few things and it worked out just fine. And I had an offer to schedule something for me. Namely, what I told it is that I wanted certain reminders, and I'm just testing it out right now. I'm waiting on complete agents that are scheduled, but I'm just testing it right now. But it worked and it's scheduled appropriately.
Yep.
So I think Claude Cowork can schedule as well.
Anybody else have anything to say on scheduling in AI?
I'm looking at it right now. Unfortunately, all my AI decisions are, oh crap, I have to get it done now.
Well, that makes scheduling a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So check it out. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of a standard thing. Go ahead, Chuck.
Well, I think this is something that we're all going to have to start to think about as far as use cases. Because when I saw this, it's like, yeah, well, it's about time. And then it's like, okay, now how am I going to use this, and how will I be comfortable using it, as opposed to setting a reminder on my Mac or my iPhone?
Sure.
And that's where I need to do some experiments, because how is it going to notify you? Do I have to have it open for it to notify me, or can it be set to send me an email or send me a text? A lot of different questions here, but I do like the idea that it's one more thing it can do for me.
Yeah. Anybody else? All right. Let's talk about this one last story here. Apple has started replacing macOS names with version numbers. What are you going to do, Jeff? In several ways. Among Apple's slate of software platforms, macOS is the outlier of having its own brand name, of course, Big Bridge, Golden Gate, and instead of just a number. But some signs are indicating Apple may be shifting towards some number versioning. The support documentation has been moving away from their names and just emphasizing like macOS 27. Over this past day of this week, as we record here, a variety of Mac-focused support pages have been noticed that they're not using the name anymore. They're just using the version numbers instead. So and they laid out some of the pages here about spatial audio support and Wi-Fi password support, and the page here with this one was where macOS Monterey was replaced with macOS 12. So maybe this is maybe a sharp person here that wrote this article found this, and then potentially Apple is maybe going to away from that. They've had it since the OS X 10. That's when 10 first came out. It always had a name, right?
It did, but we didn't use the name until much later. And like even when everyone was running Tiger, that was still referred to by its macOS 10 number. And and when they switched to doing just the name as the primary identification for operating systems, that was the point where I was no longer able to keep track of what the operating system names were, and started coming up with my alternate stupid names for them. Going back to what they were doing before, which I think they never should have stopped doing in the first place, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it makes sense because it's a lot easier. Number one, it's a lot easier to keep track of the various OS numbers as compared to the names. And Jeff shouldn't have a problem until macOS 7.1.4 comes out.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, at least we have a little bit of time until then.
Yeah, just a little.
I see this as an opportunity.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If they're giving up on names, that means we can kind of create our own names.
That's true.
He already
is.
Instead of visionOS 28, it can be visionOS crash test.
Yep.
Microsoft already has that.
Yeah.
Marty, if we had been given the opportunity to come up with the new names for the operating system versions, in retrospect, I would have named Big Lake macOS West Hollywood Boulevard, because that seems very appropriate for the quality of the operating system.
Yeah, I'm still pushing for Golden Arches instead of Golden Gate.
Looking for Goose Pond.
There's a copyright involvement there, so that's probably why it didn't happen.
Apple's got enough money to cover that.
And I hate to say it, but I wish they would do it with hardware too, because and maybe you guys aren't, but I buy hardware from Apple off of Amazon and Best Buy. And what they do is they'll say, this is serial model 3433467. And I'm like, is it this year's? It says iPad Pro. I have zero, or Costco, zero idea which model this is. Zero. And so I look up the serial number and then I can find out which it is. But it would just be nice if it said iPad Pro 27.
I agree.
Okay.
And that's true for most consumers too. I think they go into Costco and they're like, I got a new iPad.
Right.
It's like, no, you didn't.
There's a closeout.
You bought an old one. Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Because most people, Jill, aren't going to be smart enough to do that. And I don't say that, that sounds a lot more disparaging than I really meant it. But, really, if you're presented with a model number as compared to either a version number or a year of release, most people, they're just going to be like, oh, okay, well, it's here at Costco, so it must be the new one. And, they don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say that the reason I buy it for these other places is because I get bonus points. I get money back. I save $50 or $100 on it. And I'd never buy anything in the Apple Store unless it's only there. Or it's a MacBook.
Well, you can get 3% back if you use your Apple Card.
Yeah.
Yep, I know. But I get 6% back other ways.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good discount too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to a new segment we're going to call Things We Found. What it's going to be is we're going to have each panel member pick up a thing they found that they find to be interesting or cool or all of the above, and we'll talk about it. So I'm going to start. So the first one I found, Apple just started selling some new accessories. This one was kind of an interesting one. It's a company called Nimble. It's the Nimble Share Power portable battery charger. They've had this at Amazon, this one before, but this one's unique. It is a 10,000 milliamp portable charger. And it's got a simple idea. The best power you can give is a magnetic modular system that splits into two independent 5,000 milliamp batteries with its own USB-C connectivity. So when a friend's phone's hit to 1%, you don't have to choose between their day and yours. You just snap off a module and hand it over. They plug it in, and they can get a full charge on their phone. This is kind of ingenious. It's got the on one of them, it's got the percentage display telling you how much battery life is left, and one of them just has the actual built-in USB-C plug into it. The other one has a cord. You plug it in, you charge it, and it's small. It's about the size of an AirPods Pro case. It looks like, and $79.95. It comes in 3 colors. And Patrice is going to like this. It's in pink, so I got to make sure I mention this to her. And also comes in blue and white, and it's exclusive at the Apple Store, like you were just saying, Joel. This one you can't buy anywhere else, so check it out.
But you don't get the schadenfreude of pointing at the person and go, ha, 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 it sucks to be you.
Because you didn't go to the Apple Store to buy this, right? Any thoughts?
I'm going to keep all of my 10,000 milliamps to myself.
I'm going to Australia, damn it.
What about anybody think on this one?
I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share, but I've got more than one device that needs charging at the same time.
Yeah. There you go. You split them and put it between them. It's got 5,000 milliamps each. All right, Guy, tell us about your things you found.
Well, it should come as no surprise that mine is audio related.
No surprise.
If you do anything with audio on your computer, sometimes you find you need to route that audio from one program to another. And there are various ways to do this. Some are free, some are not so free. And this is from a company that we're all very familiar with, Elgato. And it is free. It's the Wavelink 3.0. And it pretty much lets you not only route audio from one program to another, but route multiple different audio sources from one to the other. It's got a relatively easy UI. If I was going to compare it to something like Rogue Amoeba's Loopback, I don't think it's as easy to use as that, but Rogue Amoeba's been in this game for a really, really long time. But again, this is free, and it lets you send audio from that thing over to that thing. And again, it's a free download.
Nice.
And it works with Windows too, which is bizarre for me.
Cool. None of us will be dabbling in Windows, right?
No.
Very cool. I like that. Jeff, tell us about your things we found.
All right. So there's 2 prongs to my choice. And the first one is because I love it and use it all the time. And the second one is because this is what I will be using during my hands-on presentation at MacStock. And it's Linea Sketch. So it's my favorite sketching tool on the iPad. And I love it because, well, first, you don't have to pay for it. But if you do, then you get all of the features. But if you're not paying, you have a fully functional tool. It just doesn't have all of the features that you get with the full version. So, it's still a great thing to use for free, but in my mind, totally worth paying for. It's an easy interface to get into. Like a lot of drawing apps, it's really complicated and gets confusing very quickly as you're trying to figure out how to do even simple things. Mm-hmm. And with Linea Sketch, it's just, I have an Apple Pencil and I have tools on one side of my screen. I have some colors on the other side. I can just tap what I want and go.
Okay.
And then when you're ready to start doing more, create more sophisticated or more involved art, okay, well, then you can start exploring all the other tools. And then when you hit a point where you're like, oh, I need to do more than I can do with the free version, okay, then you can start paying for it. But it's a super awesome drawing app. And if you've seen any presentation I've done that involves having like keynote slides, I draw all of my slides, and I'm using Linear Sketch to do all of that.
Nice.
So it's an awesome tool, and I'll be using it at MacStock.
Icon Factory makes amazing stuff. They do.
They do.
I love Tapestry.
So also, yeah, I love their stuff. So if you're coming to MacStock, download Linear Sketch onto your iPad.
You got to do it. All right. And Jill, tell us about how you were successful with a certification and what app was in place that made you successful as the things we found.
Yeah, well, I was a little confused. So I mentioned some of it earlier, but I used Mac Preview to combine PDFs together. So I didn't have a bunch of sporadic ones, split them apart, and delete pages from it as I learned a topic. So I didn't know that. And then you export the whole thing and export it into a PDF, which I recommend if you're going to move it to a Windows machine, which was my work machine. Mm-hmm. So Preview, I learned. I didn't know this, and it was ChatGPT that told me about it, does so many things. Between that, it can also edit images and take backgrounds out. And I was so amazed at how, you can annotate PDFs, which meant I could highlight all the stuff I didn't know. So my eyes would go right there. I thought, wow, this is just Preview. And my friend said, well, which app is this? I want to buy this app. I said, it just comes with your Mac. It's amazing.
Comes with the iPhone too and iPad. You get the Preview available now and there as well.
iPhone and
iPad would work, and you do what you just did on the iPad.
Yeah, great.
That's great. And you were successful, like you said.
Yeah.
All right, Marty, you've got a creative console. We all love Logitech's products. Tell us what your things found is.
I would say in the amongst friends here, I'm kind of known as an a-hole. And by that, I mean Adobe person, because I learned Adobe on a Windows machine years ago, Adobe Audition, and have kind of carried that into my workflow. So now it's Adobe Audition, and because the same sort of setup and logic works with that, the video editing occurs in Premiere. I should be learning Final Cut and switch over to that so I can be true to the motherland. But instead, I'm still kind of tied in with Adobe products. And I think it was Dave that turned me on to the Logitech mouse, the Master for Mac. Yeah. And with that comes a suite called Logi Options Plus.
Got the.
And then from there, I'm looking for a silent keyboard, so I went ahead and got the Logitech keyboard, and suddenly those Logitech options became more and more useful as kind of a patch for that. There are two objects here. There's the console. There's not a button that I don't mind pushing. That looks very much like a Stream Deck. But it's set up with the Logitech and with the Adobe kind of suite as part of it. And that's part of the Logi options. There are other things, other templates that you can put in from other programs or other systems. I know you can purchase for Stream Deck a lot of the Adobe templates. If you want to go with this just seems to be built in and is kind of interesting. And then along with that, you get what is a dial controller that is battery operated and Bluetoothed into your device, and you can set that up to run certain aspects of it, particularly with graphic editing and things like that. So this is a new toy, and I've just started playing with it, but it's
you have lots of toys.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. Chuck, you've got a nice show you want to share us of things we found.
Yeah, do you mind? I just want to go back to Marty for
Oh,
a
yeah, sure.
second. Marty, I'm really this is really intriguing. The software that assigns keys. I mean, how do you find the software?
It's part when you get a Logitech device, whether it's the keyboard or the Master MX Master 4, their supplemental software is called
Logi Options.
Logi Options Plus, and that
It comes
it will
on a stack of floppy
recognize.
disks.
It will recognize where when you have a new device, and you can then from there do the settings within the Logi Options, and it gets set up that way.
Okay, so it's that one big Logi command and control center that as opposed to an individual. Okay, yeah.
Then they have templates for a whole variety of software that will run through this small deck.
Yeah, like the Logi Options, not only does it manage the MX Master series of the mouse and keyboard, it also manages the lights as well. I give one of the lights that I can manage the Litra Glow it's called. That you can turn on and off control. But they also have a separate app for that as well for the lighting that you can do. It's the Logi the Launch G Hub it's called. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm just curious because the button pad. Okay, I've got a Stream Deck for that, and that not that this is
Stream Deck is
good, but it's fine.
Me, yeah.
But it's really the other one that is got me because you got some buttons there that can be assigned. You got a roller, you got a dial, and anybody remember Griffin Technologies?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they made a great it felt like the old controls on a 1970s style receiver.
Yeah.
It just had a great feel to
Yep.
it. And I'm thinking this might be something reminiscent of that, but because I always enjoyed that for certain things. So.
And it's not just
sorry, I went
it's
off track, Dave.
$160 for that comes as a creator kind of,
and it's not just Adobe. You can use it with pretty much any of your favorite apps. So
it reminds me a lot of the Blackmagic machines that you can buy for video editing, just a lighter scale of it, and I think much cheaper. And so I'm pretty excited about it.
You guys already know I have enough Stream Decks. I can't put this in this equation. It would look.
Oh, I'm surprised to hear you don't have one already.
I'm just going to stay that way.
He doesn't have a Stream Deck Neo though.
I didn't get the Neo.
No, he does.
We can Neo shame him.
Don't.
I have the small one. It's not the Neo color. It's the black one. The mini.
Oh, okay.
All right, Chuck, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's
sorry.
okay.
It really. I kind of lost my place and waiting for you to call on me because I was looking at that. Yeah, look, I'm really behind on my watch list, like really behind. And so I'm trying to pick and choose things, to move it to the top. And I just finished, finally, the last season of For All Mankind. And I just felt like this was maybe one of their best seasons. I know that way back in the first season, some people thought it might be a little slow. This series has just really grown, matured, and gotten better with each season. And season 4 really kind of finishes off the story, maybe, because there's a spinoff now from For All Mankind called Star City. And that is, I won't get into the plot, and I'm not going to spoil anything if I do, but that is another base that, now it looks like the stories will transfer to. So this is well worth your time. And so if you got a little hesitant on the first season, just plow through it, get through it, because there are so many things, there's so many parallels here with things that are going on today, not necessarily space related or moon related or Mars related or any of that. So give it, it's an Apple TV series, of course, so you'll need Apple TV, but it's worth it. Probably is.
All right, Eric, tell us what you got about Vision Pro and things we found.
This is sort of weird. I don't know why I've never heard about it before, but I use Mac Virtual Display a lot. And it's one of the questions I get from people who have an ultra-wide display and find there just is not enough room, is a Vision Pro worth it? I always say yes, especially for Chuck. However, one of the issues I had was, a lot of times, I'll be watching something, like in an Apple TV window, and if it gets too close to the Mac Virtual Display, it goes transparent, and you're really trying to get work done while something is playing in the background. And what I came across today in a Reddit comment was that you can get your Apple TV window set where you want it, and then if you press and hold on the X on the close button, there's a lock option. And when you turn on the lock option, it won't go transparent. It just stays frozen in that spot. Then you can click back to the Mac Virtual Display, and you have two windows that are both fully active and stay that way. So you can have your video playing in the background, whether it's a tutorial or news or whatever, and your work in front of you on an ultra-wide display. It's reduced stress a lot, because I used to put in the part of the pass-through window, I would just have an iPad playing. It wasn't the same. Now you get good sound, you get good video, you can see it, you get your other window. You don't have to futz with moving windows around. It works with other windows also. So if you have like a PDF reference or something, you can keep two windows live and active at the same time.
All right, great.
I really wish I knew this a lot earlier, but that was today's discovery.
Very good.
Awesome.
All right. Before we leave you this week, let me make sure I mention MacStock. MacStock 10 is coming. 20 days, guys. We're going to see each other less than 3 weeks. They're going to be there July 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's MacStock. Come see us. Most of us here are presenting, and we're going to be having a blast. Can't wait. The theme is Inspire. We've got 3 full days of workshops. You can get your pass at macstockconference.com. A lot of networking. We've got some great speakers, including us, as well as David Pogue's going to be there. Dave Hamilton's going to be there. Alice Sheridan's going to be there. There's going to be David Pogue's going to have a book signing, and he's going to be doing an evening with him on that Friday night. So it's going to be just an absolute blast. We might even have a special thing going on Sunday night. We'll save that announcement when that happens. But go check it out, and you also have an option to join us with Ecamm doing the Ecamm Creator Camp MacStock edition. That's the day before, which is on July 9th. You can add that to the package. So you have 2 packages available to get all 4 days and enjoy that Ecamm, which is that software that we use here and many other podcasts, or just go to the actual MacStock conference from July 10th through the 12th. So go to macstockconference.com. If you use the offer code INTOUCH at the checkout from us, you will save $50 off your admission price. So check it out, macstockconference.com. We can't wait. I hope we see you. So with that, we're going to go wrap up. But before we do that, let's find out where everybody can find you. Let's go back to the other order, and let me ask Marty Jencius, where can people find you? Thanks for being here.
Easy enough to find me through thepodtalk.net. That is the website that contains the shows that I produce, the shows that I'm on. So Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time with the Neo Notebook. Monday night, we have Vision Profiles. Tuesday with Chuck on Mac Voices. Thursdays here with Dave on In Touch with iOS. And part of the new show, the Tech Hangout on Friday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
All right. Thanks, Marty. And Jill McKinley, thank you for joining us. Congrats on your 100% certification on AI. Where can people find you?
Well, I had one other tip, which I didn't mention. I told AI I have to study for this test this week. Do not let me go down any wormholes with you. If I try, say, Jill, study for your test.
Nice.
And it worked.
Wow.
Anyway, you can find me at jillfromthenorthwoods.com.
Excellent. Thanks, Jill. Appreciate you being here. Eric Bolden, thanks you for being here. I think we had some flowers behind you this week. I'm not sure what those were, but it's always an adventure to see what you bring to us on your background. But where can people find you?
I can be found on Mastodon at eabolden@mas.to. Otherwise, Sunday nights on the Neo Notebook with Marty and Dave. Mondays
stickers.
on... Oh, nice. Yeah. Come to Macstock and pick up the nice ones. Mondays
Our truck full of stickers.
Yeah.
All of Marty's shows.
Go ahead.
Mondays on Vision Profiles, also with Dave and Marty and others. And Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live with tons of us on Chuck's show. And Thursdays on In Touch with iOS on Dave's show. Here.
Appreciate it. Also appreciated is Mr. Jeff Gamet. Thank you for being here, Jeff. And where can people find you?
Dave, it's always a treat to hang out with you and everyone else here. So where to find me? On my blogs, jeffgamet.com and freshbrewtales.com. Then on the social medias as jgamet, pretty much everywhere. Most active right now on Mastodon, Pixelfed, and Blue Sky. And then for shows, Tuesdays on Chuck's Mac Voices Live, here with you on Thursdays for In Touch with iOS. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine. Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch. And then, as Marty pointed out, a bunch of us are doing the Tech Hangout live on Friday mornings.
Can't wait. Chuck Joyner, thank you for being here and joining us. I know you have a busy schedule that's been keeping you busy, but I'm glad you made it. Where can people find you?
MacVoices.com is where you'll find everything, including quite a bit of stuff on why I've been busy for the last couple of weeks. So busy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there. We do the live show, as has been mentioned, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. And on the socials, you can find me as @ChuckJoyner. Thank you, Dave.
Chuck. Last but certainly not least, the man, the myth, the legend. I don't know about that, but Guy Serle, how you doing? Where can people find you?
Mostly myth, and damn those time zones. They seem to be just causing all kinds of havoc this week. Right. You can find me on my regular show, the G-Men Show. Marty was a special guest this week, and thank you, Marty. I really appreciated it. Besides that, you can contact me, gmenshow at iCloud.com is the email address. Over on the socials, you can usually find me either as MacPettit or VertShark. We have a Google Voice number, 703-828-46. And there's Tales from the AI Verse. There's Guy's Daily Drive. And the new show that only has one episode, but I'm hoping to do more, Warp Speed Weirdos, which is, of course, Star Trek.
There you go. All right. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Mastodon. It's In Touch with iOS. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we're live streaming. Thank you, Witherbucket, and a number of others who were in the chat. They joined us in the YouTube chat. That's on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. You can watch the current live stream and past live streams and listen to past shows. You can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher. That includes Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. Better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com. That's the place you can find us and where we can be listened to. It's out there. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on the following shows: Neo Notebook on Sundays, Vision Profiles on Mondays, Tuesday nights on Mac Voices Live here on Thursdays, and the wonderful show would be episode 2 after you listen to this. It's the Tech Hangout, so come check it out. And with that, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon.